I still move that we open.
You want to try it again? Up, up, up. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It
There you
shouldn't.
go.
It shouldn't though.
We should be able to.
No, because that's what was echoing before.
I know, but
Bill, say something so we can hear, if we can hear you.
I approve of the minutes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we're good.
so we can hear everything.
all right,
Great.
They're frozen.
all right. Bill said yes.
That's-
Fred,
As long as we can hear
Terry,
them.
Stain?
Don,
Yeah.
Stephanie,
Aye.
Mike, yes.
Oop, there went the Zoom.
One abstain,
They all froze off
six,
anyway.
yes.
Oh, there we go. They're moving. Okay. Minutes are done.
Good.
Okay.
123R, 7-star occupancy
No,
limit.
we'll come back to that one,
Okay.
because I gotta display it. I'm just trying to hit the ones, we only got 10 minutes here, so. Annie, you want to give us the update on seasonal waivers?
Yep. So 4 Yama Road is complete. They just haven't seeded yet. 769 Salem Street is completed. They just haven't seeded yet. 12 Pleasant, if my email will open. It did. So far, they've had 1 day of oh, thank you. 1 day of excavation, 2 days of demolition, 8 days of foundation, 15 days of framing. They're expecting 1 to 2 days of framing, 10 days of siding, and 3 days of roofing.
A partridge in a pear tree.
They've had some delays because of all the snow we've gotten, and as well as their entire crew getting COVID. So that's why they're pretty behind schedule, and because of that, they're going to have to ask for an extension to the seasonal waiver until April 15th, which is the end
There's
of
no more.
the seasonal restriction. And moving forward, I think it would be beneficial for the commission to do their seasonal waivers based off when their meetings are and not the end of the month, because it leaves an awkward couple days between when a seasonal restriction waiver expires and when they can renew it. So that's,
So are we moving to extend their seasonal waiver right through the end of April 15th? Is that the
yeah.
recommendation? Okay.
Yep.
So I move that we extend the seasonal waiver for, what's the address? Sorry.
12 Pleasant.
For 12 Pleasant, from its current expiration point to the April 15th, 2022, on the same terms as previously granted.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? Any questions?
Which one was 12 Pleasant?
That was the garage addition.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yep.
Good question.
All right, we're ready to vote then. Hold on a
Seconded
second.
it. Terry?
Terry?
Thank
When
you.
in doubt.
I know.
Bill,
He disappeared.
He's frozen.
okay. Fred,
There he is again.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Hi.
Stephanie,
Aye.
Mike, yes. Bill, yes or no?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
unanimous.
Any other seasonal discussion?
There's only one, so I can run through it quickly. 139 King Street, they had the septic system and the addition, and they were only going to do the septic system right now during the seasonal waiver. Dan Briscoe is doing the septic for them. He is too busy to get to them before April 15th, so they no longer need a seasonal waiver for that, but they wrote this letter when they thought they still were. So the letter is, Dear Annie, Conservation Commission, with the septic system being in the beginning phases, starting with the tree removal, we have hired Steve Collins Family Tree Removal Company to remove all trees relating to the septic design installment. On Monday, February 7th, 2022, Colin Tree Service arrived and began the tree removal. While the tree removal was in progress, Steve observed several trees in the common way that needed to be removed as soon as possible due to an infestation of ash borer beetle and subsequent woodpecker damage. He stated that the trees pose a big safety hazard due to the close proximity of a highly traveled common drive, severe decay involving electric wires in the path of if they were to fall, but also for the residents and the children that reside in the area. On Wednesday, February 9th, 2022, Collins returned to complete the tree removal of all trees. With the tree removal in the common way, would it be possible to have the stumps grinded down because we have plans to plant new trees? And then they asked for an extension to the waiver, which they now no longer need. The trees that were infected with the borer beetle were within our jurisdiction. But I went out and saw them, and the stump, it was so decayed. But they were within our jurisdiction, so they just wanted to bring it to you.
We need to approve then the stump grinding, don't we?
Yes, so they're asking for
They're gonna do
approval
that,
of,
Oh, but it's in the jurisdiction.
Yeah, that's all.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they're-
But they don't need a seasonal waiver for that, they just need a normal approval.
Exactly. And they were worried that they took down trees that they weren't supposed to take down
You looked
without
at them now?
asking you.
Okay.
Oh,
We
yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
We don't like ash borers in any form. So they did the right thing across the board, I think.
Do we give them approval for removal of the trees without the ash borers and then we consent to the stump grinding? Is that what we're doing?
Well, I think we're looking at what, is this a GRDA kind of thing?
It's a notice of it. They have a notice of intent for the work that they're doing on their property right now.
So it's going to be amended to the notice of intent?
They're just asking if they can remove the trees, so we can issue a kind of letter permit when we, like how we do with the GRDA.
Right, that's where I was headed.
Yeah.
Like how official we need to make this.
I think just like a letter saying that the Conservation Commission voted to.
And you've taken a look out there, and if they grind, it's not going to mess up anything?
No, they were upset to remove the trees. They do have plans to replant them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I read the letter
Okay.
that they wrote.
When do they want to do these stump grinding?
They would wait until after the seasonal waiver, probably until after their septic is done, because it would be
Okay,
to get all that stuff back there.
Well, unless they're
So
going to
I
have
would
equipment going over.
I would suggest that we ask for an official letter from them, specifically what they're looking for. Then when we get that, we'll take a vote.
Didn't they
There's
send
no
a letter?
hurry if it's going to be after
sent a
April
letter.
anyway.
No, but they're still going to need our permission.
Right. What I'm saying is we don't have to make a decision.
Yeah, right, we don't need to
thing
decide
today.
tonight.
We can do it in April and still be,
But they sent a letter already.
Yeah, but the letter is not really specifically addressing, I just want a letter that strictly says, we need to do stump grinding, which is
Okay.
an alteration to the original orders. And then we can decide, I would probably agree with Annie that we can just do a letter, but it could be an amendment to the notice of intent too, so we'll just have to decide.
Okay, they're not gonna do it till after
Yeah,
our
I
next
mean-
meeting
Yeah, yeah,
anyway,
so it's
so I
no-
guess that
It's
makes
not
sense.
gonna,
but- Okay,
I just figured we don't need to do it tonight.
okay, so we don't need to vote on anything.
Does that make sense, Annie?
Yep.
Okay, and let's see.
Any other seasonal?
The seasonal fee structure,
There was just some some stuff on the second page of that's highlighted that looked a little wonky. Like you have to pay 48 hours in advance for the commencement of an activity and pay 7 days worth of the fees. But then it's not easy to do reimbursements.
You're better off having a final accounting before a check's written.
Yeah, exactly. It's easier to have it not retroactively.
Right, right.
That's all. And then an excavation waiver to a building waiver, 48 hours. Just stuff to look at and decide how we want to change that wording. But
do you want us to make a decision now, or?
no, we don't have to do it right now. I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that there was still some wonky wording that needed to be worked out.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, these are procedural, we can figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
but you want people to just
Yeah,
basically
I
effectively
would,
do
I
it
would
at the
say
end. Okay.
it looks like it needs. What's going on?
Go ahead, Bill.
We can
It
hear
looks
you.
like it looks like it needs to be removed, but, Annie, if there's some wording that we should put in there, maybe suggest some wording.
Okay, I can do that.
Might not need it, but we might just want to say something about the payments.
Yep.
All right. I'll make a motion to go into the hearing portion of our meeting at 7:30 PM.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote. Bill,
Aye.
Fred,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
See,
Stephanie,
Aye.
Mike, yes, unanimous. All right, so, yeah,
Just point, I'm not seeing anything from your camera or cameras in the room.
oh gosh, you serious?
I don't know if it's just, I can see other people on the call, so.
I can see your camera, but you're frozen. You've been frozen for a while.
Oh, yeah.
did he get our best pictures when he froze it?
It's technical difficulties night.
It's the Wi-Fi, huh? Or something.
Bill and Fred aren't going to be able to see the plans now
Okay.
because it's
I'm going to have to restart Zoom. It's crashed.
fully, but can Bill hear us?
Yeah, but it's the camera's all frozen.
Can you just
Tell us.
leave
Can I
and
what?
then come back in?
He's the host of the meeting.
But the host can leave, can't the host? Well, let's
They
find
hand it
out.
off to somebody else.
I'm a big fan. If we're gonna have to shut it down anyway, then let's see if he can leave and come back. Right?
He has
And
to
then we
hand
don't have
off
to
the
shut it
hosting
down
to
and
somebody else
relaunch it
then.
and have other people have to rejoin it.
Bill,
Yeah, all right, we're good.
We're good?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Jason saved the day.
Mike, you never got my email, right?
No, I never did. We'll have to live without it.
All right. Bill, can you see us?
Yeah, we're working
No,
now.
I still have a black screen.
Fred, can you see us, or are you on a phone?
Okay, now it's back.
All right, good.
Okay.
All right, so the first hearing is a GRDA hearing for 14 Pandora Drive. So, you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Sure. So 14 Pandora Drive, they're proposing a second floor addition and as well as a like 3-season sunroom. So the only impact to the ground would be 3 12-inch sono tubes. I had a great graphic on my PowerPoint that showed exactly the distance from the wetlands and everything. But you can see on this, the markings for the 3 sono tubes. They're gonna be 10 feet off of the foundation. This is from their old septic system plan, but they're proposing to do the same siltation barriers, even though it's only the 3 sono tubes, but they're gonna be back here with equipment for the second floor dwelling, and then here are the wetlands. So I think I had measured it to be 55 feet, again, this is on my next PowerPoint, from the sono tubes.
And so this is gonna be a bigger footprint, it's going up and out?
Would you like to?
Sure, I mean, Matt Bates, 14 Pandora Drive. Yeah, so we're just putting on that sunroom off the back. And three sonotubes, hand dug. We're not bringing any equipment out back for anything.
Oh.
Everything will be, even with the additions, gonna be ladders and maybe some pump staging, so.
So the only
So there's-
change is the sunroom, but it's not a full foundation, it's just.
Just, yeah, just 3 sonotubes on stilts, yeah.
Okay.
Because out back, it's a walkout basement out the back, so.
How far out is that coming?
10 feet.
Yeah, 10 feet, right, yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty straight.
It'll be outside of 50 then?
Yeah.
Still, okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Any mechanical equipment in the,
No, everything will be out front for anything with equipment. There'll be nothing out back, no dumpsters, no nothing.
how will they dig the holes for the sonotubes?
He's digging
Just
them.
hand, I'm gonna dig them, hand shovel.
Here you go.
Gonna save money, right?
Well, you could at least rent one of those handheld
Oh, it's
augers.
right near, kinda near the septic
Oh,
stuff. so
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
So what are you thinking on erosion controls?
They're gonna use the same erosion controls that they did for their septic system, so it's probably,
And that was like, what, 6, 7 years ago, I think, the septic system, 7 years ago?
this is actually 2015,
Okay, yep.
yeah. So it's gonna be probably a little more than what they will need to do, but, so this is where the sonotube is, so they're just gonna put it all around.
Oh, okay, silk sock,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
Is that what you're going to use, silk sock?
Yeah,
Same thing?
yep.
Okay.
Like I said, Brian my contractor went out with Annie, and they kinda had a game plan, he sketched it a little bit, I think, on
Yeah,
on
yeah,
one of the
they
plans.
were more or less gonna do the exact same thing for the,
Yeah.
erosion controls, just because it,
It's pretty flat, too, I presume. Is
Yeah,
the
and probably it goes down after.
Yeah,
But at
it-
the top of that hill, you saw it, like, on the top of the hill is where they,
I
when we moved
had
in.
I had pictures that would have showed you, unfortunately, but the silt sock is essentially going where it starts to dip down.
Yeah,
Okay.
But
I did
it's-
it when we moved into with the
Yeah.
septic, it was still, they still had that up.
Yeah, it's really flat where the work is gonna be taking place, though,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And he knows about the seasonal restriction, so
Yeah,
he's not
April
gonna start
15th.
it.
Yeah, I told
Yeah, one
Brian,
side's left, and we wanna get some rest on it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's snowing outside.
You're not
It's
digging
still
the-
snow in April, you know?
It could easily snow.
Not going to go
April.
back and start digging the holes?
No.
Okay, somebody wanna make a motion?
I move that we allow the installation of 3 sonotubes at 14 Pandora Drive with the accompanying silk sock erosion controls as indicated on the plan submitted for the septic system from 2015. Anything else to add? I can't think of anything else. Mike,
Second.
anything to add?
Is it seconded?
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
And the second story addition is in a separate filing or is part of this one?
part of this one.
Okay. So,
So do you wanna mention the second floor addition too?
I don't know.
The
I mean,
only
we don't want to
thing
have
that
any
we-
stockpiling in.
The only-
It's gonna be out front, all the loading areas will be out front, dumpster will be out front, if there's any equipment, it'll be out front, because coming down in is like the septic comes out the back of the house, over and up to the leach field on the side of the house, so we don't drive anything out back.
So it makes sense to keep it there,
Everything will go up
even though
front.
you got to haul it around and still.
Crush.
Well, it's got to
You'll
get
crush
there
the
anyway.
septic if you
Yeah,
do
they'll bring it
anything.
up and over, whatever they're gonna do.
Since it's not really doing anything, I don't know if we have to mention anything.
Well, I mean, we just want to make sure any kind of debris that blows into the wetlands gets picked up. 'Cause
I'll
there's-
make my kids pick everything up.
it's good for them.
So maybe, and that the loading area is kept
And that the
within-
loading area be maintained at the front of the residence.
Yeah.
Right, but that, we normally.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's pretty
It's-
much boilerplate
Yeah,
stuff.
okay.
All right. We're ready to take a vote then.
Any discussion? Or did
No,
you-
I-
Oh, we did, okay.
You heard it.
Bill,
Yes.
Fred,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Yes,
Stephanie,
Aye.
Mike, yes, unanimous.
get digging.
Awesome, thanks, guys.
See
for
you
coming.
later.
Thank you.
Drive careful.
Oh, so, sorry, Annie, just add to that motion and close the hearing
Oh.
on this.
Okay.
But we're keeping the hearing open for the other
No,
stuff.
but the hearing on.
The
Okay.
hearing on
Hearing,
14
gotcha.
Pandora Drive.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
All right, so the next one is the Groveland cross-country sewer improvements, notice of intent, Groveland notice of intent.
The main attraction.
We need to open this hearing.
Yes, so we're opening it.
Nope. I can move if I need to.
Does someone want to open the hearing?
Yeah, I don't think we need to because we open it.
No, we
just
didn't.
need-
No, we didn't open it.
No,
we did.
but
We
we
opened for
opened
all of
the
them.
hearing portion of the meeting, so
Yeah.
we don't have to do open for all of them. Just
Perfect
close
timing.
them or continue them.
Yeah, we open all the meetings at the same time. And so that's what we've been doing for, as opposed to opening each separate hearing and then you'll probably mark it as separately opened, but on for our purposes, they're all opened during this period. Okay. Sorry, I thought you knew we were doing that. That's,
No, it's okay.
All right. How are we starting?
As you are all aware, I'm assuming this is why a lot of you are here, there is a proposed sewer improvement project from the intersection of Sewell Street and Salem Street to Alyssa Drive, which I also had a nice PowerPoint that showed that, but technical difficulties got in the way, so we have good old-fashioned paper. And I'm going to let the professionals take it away as far as explanations, because they'll be able to do it better than I can.
Great, thank you. For the record, my name is Chris Lucas with Lucas Environmental, professional wetland scientist and registered professional soil scientist. Thank you. Juggling act here. We're here tonight for the proposed sewer main. We're here tonight with Colin Stokes from the Water and Sewer Department, Brian Murray from Millennium Engineering, the engineer of record, and we also have Bill Daly from R&D Site Development, the contractor for the work. Mass DP has issued a file number 0300474. They had no technical comments on the project. They summarized the list of impacts as we provided them in the notice of intent. As Annie indicated, we are starting down along Salem Street, down at the beginning of Sewell Street, running up Murray Avenue, along Murray Court, up Harvard Road, taking left turn west on Center Street, and then we're going through several town-owned parcels through a whole series of easements, running under the brook here. The Groveland Community Rail Trail project is right here, and ending Alyssa Drive's up in this location. So,
Yeah, that's good there. Couldn't see the point.
try to do that, and make sure everybody can see it here. So that's the length of the sewer main. As far as the resources go, there's no outstanding resource waters or area of critical environmental concern within the project limits. There is a Zone 2 Mass DEP wellhead protection area, Zone 2 number 344, for the Groveland Water Department through their site. We also, as many of you know, have Natural Heritage Endangered Species Program, estimated habitat of rare wildlife EH 133 on a portion of the site, primarily up in this vicinity, and priority habitat of rare species PH 2110. There are no certified vernal pools within the study area. There is a potential vernal pool mapped roughly 700 feet north of all the work areas, so we're nowhere near that pool. Argilla Brook is identified as a Category 2 water under the 2016 Integrated List of Waters. It's attaining some uses others not assessed, and the reach supports fish, aquatic life, and other wildlife. Professional wetland scientists delineated all the resource areas in the vicinity of the work on November 3rd and 10th of 2021, so late last fall, early winter. Resource areas throughout the project site consist of inland bank, BVW, land under water bodies and waterways, isolated vegetated wetland, isolated land subject to flooding, bordering land subject to flooding, and riverfront area. So we pretty much have every resource area throughout the project. Starting down in the Salem Street area, we have Grindle Brook, which is an intermittent stream. The bank/mean high water line, which is coincident, was delineated for this stretch in this area, as well as a bordering vegetated wetland, which we marked as A. So we identified this as Stream 1 and Wetland A. There's also bordering land subject to flooding associated with this area. It's a Zone A designation, so there's no base flood elevations determined. And Grindle Brook is identified as an intermittent stream.
As there's a crossing there?
There's no work in the resource areas here.
Okay.
The stream crosses under Salem Street, right about here. So all the work will be buffer zone only to the resources, so we're not touching anything there. The second resource is a large bordering vegetated wetland up along Center Street and the property here through the easement. Again, this work is all limited to the buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland, which we've identified as B. There's a small isolated wetland located here, which many of you saw during the site walk. This was identified as wetland C. It's an isolated vegetated wetland per your local regulations. It also meets the definition of isolated land subject to flooding per the Wetland Protection Act. Would you like me to keep going or address the?
Yeah, go ahead.
Keep going or?
No, address the question, please.
What's the question?
What exactly does that mean, what you just said about an isolated and it falls under certain?
So isolated land subject to flooding is a resource area based on, it's a small pocket of water that in a 100-year storm event can flood to a certain extent. And that's a state regulation, which is also under your local. Because it's isolated, the wetland is not regulated under the State Wetlands Protection Act, but it is regulated under the local Groveland's bylaw.
Now, is that the one that we were hypothesizing had been dug out?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
When we saw.
Correct,
Yeah.
that's right. We parked down here and we cut through the field and we
Yep.
came out right over here where there's a road. And then this area comes through that large open gravel area that will be the conservation restriction and mitigation plan for the rail project.
Yeah. So you weren't there, but it looked as though.
I tried.
I understand. It looked as though it had been excavated, but had grown back probably the last 20, 30, who knows how many years. There may be some habitat in there, but they're aware of it and they're going to take whatever.
Those ponds all the way back where there was a pipe running between the two?
It's near there, but it's a hollowed out area.
It's next to the
It's near the
town
DP.
yard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was all the way out there trying to find y'all.
Yep,
Yep.
Yeah.
That-
And I saw two things of water with a pipe that was running out of one of them. That's why I wanted to make sure I was where I thought.
That's the one. That's the
Okay.
one.
For those that weren't there, this is all referencing a site walk that we did at the site for people that weren't out there. Go ahead.
So this is up at the northern portion. This is up near Argilla Brook, up near the right-of-way. We delineated the mean annual high water line of the brook, which is a perennial stream, so there is associated riverfront. Here you can see the 100-foot riverfront.
I have a question.
yep, go ahead.
Back in the corner.
Oh, can you-
Near the rail.
Hold on, can you just identify yourself?
It's Tom and Kristen Zarella. We're the owners of 174 Center Street.
Okay, all right, thank you. Go ahead.
Up in the back corner, I heard you mention something about the endangered species. Could you elaborate on that? The National Heritage Endangered Species?
Yes, I'm actually going to get to that in a bit, but I'm getting to that in a minute if you don't mind waiting.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I heard, I had trouble hearing you, but I didn't know you said something about it.
It's hard juggling. I'll try to keep the microphone closer. Hopefully this is better. So up by or Gila Brook, we delineated the mean annual high water line of the brook. We also identified the associated wetland, which is identified as wetland D. Both sides were delineated. We have the resources mapped out there. It is a perennial stream. This portion of the brook also contains the regulated floodway as well as bordering land subject to flooding, which is a zone AE elevation 38.5, which is also shown on the plans. We have the associated buffer zones shown in this area. As part of the project, we looked at various alternatives. We looked at the no build. I'm just going to briefly summarize here. It's all detailed in the notice of intent. We looked at alternative alignments. The town, through Weston and Sampson, has looked at different options to get a gravity line through this portion of Groveland and identified this as the most viable alternative. Another alignment was looked at. It would still cross the brook. You'd have similar impacts. This one was determined to be the best option. We looked at directionally drilling under the isolated wetland as well as the brook, and there are complications with that due to this being a gravity main. There's a certain slope that they have to meet, which is outlined in the notice of intent, and Mr. Murray's here to describe that in more detail if you have any questions later. But directional drilling is not going to be feasible under the isolated wetland, and it's not going to be feasible under the brook. At the brook, we have approximately 2 to 3 feet of separation where they would be drilling, and as part of the drilling, they have to use bentonite clay. And that allows them to keep a space around the pipe so they can slide it through. The problem when you have 2 to 3 feet of separation and what appears to be sandy materials on top of it, there's a high likelihood due to the pressure, the bentonite will shoot through and fracture the substrate, and then now you've got a bentonite mess in the stream, which can be much more damaging than doing an open cut. So we did spend quite a bit of time evaluating this, and we just don't see directional drilling as feasible and likely would have greater impacts than the open cut. And then we have the preferred alternative, which is to do an open cut trench through this portion. And now I'm just going to kind of wrap up and go through the regulatory compliance, including the rare species. This project does meet the eligibility requirements as a limited project under 310 CMR 10.53D, which is specific for sewer lines. And to meet a limited project, you have to show there's no other alternatives, which we've documented. You need to minimize adverse effects, which we've done to the extent feasible through this project. You need to restore the existing vegetation and contours. We are proposing to put everything back as it was. Obviously, we can't plant trees on top of the sewer, but it'll still be vegetated when it's complete. And the sewer line must be designed to minimize inflow and leakage, which they've designed to do. Therefore, we are classified, we meet the standard for limited project. For the Massachusetts Endangered Species Act review, as you know, the Community Trail Project is ongoing construction, and they were mapped as well as this project for the wood turtle, which is a special concern species, and Blanding's turtle is listed as threatened under the state regulations. We filed this note of intent as a streamlined MESA/Wetland Protection Act review, which means we copied the notice of intent to Natural Heritage. They've reviewed it. On February 15th, they provided a letter for file number 22-40784, which the commission has on file, and they deemed that there will be no adverse effect to either rare species for this project, and they issued a conditional no-take letter. They're saying that there will be no take or harm to the species as long as we follow the conditions they've outlined. And those conditions include preparation of a turtle protection plan, which is common practice for this type of project, which will have to be formally approved by Heritage at a later date. We can provide a copy to the commission if you need it, once that's completed. And the other condition is regarding making sure erosion controls are in place and then removed immediately as soon as possible to allow turtles to continue movement. We have no issues with that, and that's standard practice for an approval of this nature. Impacts at this location, we have approximately 45 linear feet of bank impact, and these are all temporary. Roughly 1,700 square feet of bordering vegetated wetland, approximately 276 square feet to the land under the water, which is under the stream, and will involve approximately 22 cubic yards of dredging, which will be replaced. Bordering land subject to flooding is approximately 147 square feet. Isolated land subject to flooding, which is associated with that small wetland, is just under 1,800 square feet. And the riverfront impacts are roughly 9,700 square feet. Again, all temporary. And the riverfront, we comply with the 10% threshold as we're approximately 1.1% of the total riverfront in the study area.
Is that all you're going to say about endangered species at this point? I just want to make sure that
I can elaborate if they have further questions. Not sure what the questions may
Did
be.
he cover everything that you were concerned about?
Why don't we let him finish?
Well, I don't want to get too far along before.
No, I know, but we're gonna have a lot of questions, so.
Okay.
I'm wrapping up in 30 seconds anyway, so if you want to.
You go.
Okay. So that being said, we've quantified the impacts. As far as riverfront, the only standard we're not fully compliant with is there's to be no work within the inner riparian zone, the first 100 feet. Obviously, we can't avoid it, but as a limited project, we are allowed to do that as long as we restore it. And that being said, all mitigation will be done exactly in the same place. Existing grade will be reestablished, so we don't require flood compensatory storage or any other issues. The notice of intent documents each performance standard for each resource area and how we comply with it, or the one where we're slightly deficient, are allowed to do that due to the limited project status. And with that, I'll open it up to questions to the board and any abutters, and the team's here to answer questions as we can.
Okay, questions, go ahead.
Knowing that we've been Superfund sites in this town, and it's not real close, but not real far away from the project, has anybody double checked with the EPA on this?
I can't speak to that. I don't know, Colin, if,
So, I talked with DEP.
No, the EPA, Environmental Protection Service, who's overseeing us.
Right, I know what the EPA is, yes. We are not required to talk to EPA about the sewer project. The Superfund site is on Washington Street, as you know. We're not anywhere near that. We're extending the sewer line from where it already is, within Zone 2. And we're not following the master plan of the Stokes.
But doesn't our Yellow Brook go towards our wells?
Yep, so actually all the sewer in town goes next to the well. You can throw a rock from the main sewer pump station and hit well number 1. So we're not making anything any worse than it already is. It's not a concern.
So are you concerned there's going to be a breach in the sewer line, or what's your concern?
My concern is that anything would interrupt our wells being functional. Having gone through the Superfunds in '79.
The town wells.
The town wells, all 3 were closed down for a period of time. One is still going to be closed down forever, and that's my concern. We had to pay money to buy water out of Johnson Pond because we had already leased those rights to Havel. So there's where my concern lies, is mostly around our drinking water, because water is the foundation of life. So that's why I've been a pain in the neck to you all.
So, I'm pretty familiar with DEP and EPA restrictions on the Superfund site, and they've got a large area locked down, which is mostly in the rear of 46 Washington Street, and it extends, I would say, it doesn't extend into the former Bussing and Mattingly properties. That's about the limit of where it goes. So it's along that strip of Washington Street in about 500 yards, and then that's it. And they're on the other side of the Bussing property that this is going in.
Thank you.
And I know that the water department, they're doing this project, so certainly they better be very concerned about protecting their wells. Right, Colin?
Yes. We're not trying to do anything to harm the residents of the town.
Can you tell us about any areas along where this line's going in, where there's going to be potential for other residents to hook up so they won't be reliant on
Yeah, so-
septic systems in the future, if they choose?
Look at the first page. So, when we come out here onto Center Street, it's gonna come out through where Millennium Plastics is, which is near like East Coast Excavation and where Bill Dunn Landscaping is. Takes a left and passes down to where Harvard Road is. So once you're in Harvard, all the houses along Harvard until you get to Murray Court can pick up.
Those are all on septic currently.
Yeah, this whole area, everything that we're going by is all septic
Well,
currently.
That says it right there.
Yeah, so
So-
it's a huge benefit for this neighborhood here. I know in the past, 6 months. A couple houses in there have sold and they both had to replace their septics.
Right, right.
So half of Harvard can pick up, all of the Murrays, the Murray Court, Murray Ave, and the other Murray, there's 3 of them in there.
And some of these are fairly close to, not necessarily aquifers, but resource areas where water contributes to the aquifer
Yeah, so-
eventually. So you want to clear out as many septic systems as
Yeah, getting the
feasible.
septics out of there, and then it's gonna go by Chesterton as well, which, they're arguably the only industry that we have in town. So
They're
getting-
septic though, aren't they?
Yeah, they have multiple septics on that site, so getting them potentially off of septic is great for the aquifer.
Is the system
And
designed to
Brindle
handle
goes
them?
right by there, right?
It's big enough to handle them if they tied into it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's-
Yep. So basically everyone from Center Street, down Harvard, through all the Murrays, a short section of Salem Street, is all gonna be able to pick up sewer. So
All right, so in terms of water quality, I think it's going to be a long time because it's going to be 20, 30 years before everybody's system fails and they have to hook up. But gradually, I think it will actually lead to an improvement of water quality.
That end is gonna be great, yeah, it was the upper end that I was more concerned about, but now you said it's further away than we have to worry about.
Yep, go ahead.
I'm Brian Murray from Millennium Engineering. I'd just like to also just jump in and let everyone know that this proposed sewer main line also allows for potential future, access by other people in this neighborhood. There's possibility, we're gonna leave a stub here at this location, so in the future, if the town wants to serve some of these houses up here, it'll be able to do it. Same thing over here, we're leaving a stub off of Center Street that can potentially take care of houses here and as well as Chesterton on it. And as we go up further, there's potentially other small areas where there's gonna be a few more properties that may be able to tie into this.
What percentage capacity is going to be immediately put into use?
Oh, God, this pipe has, it's gonna be constructed of an 8-inch pipe beginning here down to Center Street, then it's gonna be 12-inch pipe from here over into the tie-in point near Whitestone on it. And that we've upped it to 12-inch for some of these additions on it.
So you're building for the future then?
Yeah, absolutely, in this area, yeah. 8-inch pipe and 12-inch pipe can handle a lot of flow, a lot of gravity flow on this.
Even Chesterton?
Even Chesterton.
Yeah, so the pipe that pumps all of the town's current sewer to Haverhill is only 16 inches.
All right, that kind of puts it in perspective.
Yeah, so to look at the two, it's,
Yeah, a 12-inch pipe can handle over 1 million gallons per day of flow on it, so, and we're nowhere near those numbers for what we're doing here.
So 12-inch pipe is going to be a little more than half of the capacity of a 16-inch pipe.
More than that. Yeah, it will be
Yeah,
more, it'll be.
R squared
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely,
Yeah,
you're
okay.
correct on that, yeah.
All right, so that's pretty substantial.
Yeah, we're looking at the future on this, and, there's other possible areas, from School Street, Route 97 over that way that may be able to come in this way, so, and just so everyone's aware, the town of Weston and Sampson have looked at pipe sizing as part of their master plans for this. And this is kind of the direction they were going in for sizing of the pipe on this, but we've also looked at the numbers on it, and we concur that these are good size for it.
Question. Bill Jarman, 8 Harvard Road, on the corner of Murray and Harvard,
Yep,
the inside corner there.
yep, right there.
Yeah. You answered some of my questions. I was wondering about the future plans for like Yale,
Yeah.
Swan, and all that. This is a main line?
This is, it's a main line on it. We're gonna be, we're subject to how deep we install this on this. We're not gonna be, we're probably about 6 feet, 7 feet deep in that area where your house is on it. But there is slope in the road, the road, so we can kind of follow that as we go up the road on it. So there is potential there to add more houses. We're not gonna be able to add every house and, on it, and we're not gonna be able to probably get houses that are over in this area just because of the layout of it, but at some point, those houses may be able to pump into the line as opposed to gravel.
I'm not familiar with the project that's across from Chesterton.
Yes.
How many units are going in over there?
About
Un-
200.
192, right?
Is that why we're doing this?
Yes, it is.
That's actually a good segue. I have a letter from Jason Naves addressed to the Conservation Commission in regards to the project, and it touches on the 40B, so I think this is a good time to interject with it. Excuse me. So this is from Jason Naves. I have recently heard concerns with the proposed installation of a sewer line from Sewell Street through Strawberry Fields, the Greenway. This project has come about because of the recently approved 40B project of 192 units, which with the current state laws gave Groveland zero ability to prevent. Because of this 40B project was unpreventable, the town, through extensive planning and work, has tried to make the best of this situation. By installing this sewer line in this location, it will provide the backbone of Groveland's future water system. Over the past year, I have attended multiple meetings that focused on failed septic systems being replaced, infringing on the wetlands. Many of these septic systems would not have been allowed by today's standards, but because of our past ignorance regarding the importance of the wetlands and ecosystems they provide, Mother Nature continues to get punched in the face. This new sewer system will give the town the tools to correct the past 200 years of poor choices and begin to repair and better protect the wetlands, which will provide better natural water quality. Unfortunately, this is a long, expensive process, but by working with all parties involved, this sewer project will make the best of the current situation with the least impact on the town's resources. This is my understanding of what this new sewer system means for the future of Groveland. If you find my understanding true and accurate, I believe this will be important to point these. I believe it will be important to point these town benefits out to the abutters that might not have a full understanding of the benefits.
And just to add too, you know, it's, if the tie-in costs are like, what, $4,000 or $5,000, whatever it's gonna be, a new septic these days is $30,000 to $35,000. So it's,
More than
you're
that.
talking an order of magnitude here to tie into a sewer for the residences versus a new septic. So it's, there's a cost, there's a good financial benefit to this neighborhood too for the residents living here.
What's the timeline on
I believe we're looking about 18 months, once we're approved to get it in, but that'll depend. We have certain timing restrictions with the turtles. So it's gonna depend when we get the approvals and schedules, but, I know they're anticipating roughly 18 months, where the neighborhood could potentially tie in.
So, and we've gotten a few calls about this. Once the line goes by your house, I don't know how many of you are actual abutters. You're not required to tie into it when it goes by your house. It's just there, it's there as an option. If your septic does fail, it's gonna be significantly cheaper to tie into the
Oh,
sewer.
yeah, and that's why
So it's my personal opinion, it's a great benefit for anyone that lives in that neighborhood.
I think Title V actually requires you
It
to tie
does.
into sewer if your septic system fails and it's available
Oh,
for
yeah,
you.
if it fails, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious if it was 3 years or 5 years or.
What's the timeline if they are tying in while you're going along their house? I mean, could they do it at that same time? Is that the principle, or?
It has to be constructed first before you can't just
Right.
like as the pipe goes by a house, you can't tap into it. It all has to be tested and.
Okay, I just didn't know for people that are here, if the guy, Bill, you had a,
I was just gonna touch on the layout,
okay.
that's all, but there would be a stub to the property line of each house, so the connection will be in the grass. The homeowner will never have to enter the right of way.
Okay, so it's already gonna be there in front of each of these houses that they can tie into at that point. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Okay, thanks.
Now, when you go down the middle of the street, driveways blocked, and
It kind of, it varies. Generally, we're in the roadway on it. We like to be in the roadway. We have to watch out for other utilities. There's water mains out there, there's some gas, there's some other, there is a little bit of underground electric out there. So it does, for the most part, it's right within the pavement out there. So we'll be cutting that pavement and repairing the pavement once it's done. We'd like to get your sewer and water, we'd like, as a design engineers, we like to see them towards the center of the right of way out there. So they're not as impacted by sideline work, drainage work, or work by private property owners, near the property lines, things like that. So for the most part, they're going to be right in the pavement out there.
Are any of them cutting through any driveways, or is it all existing right-of-ways.
What happens here, as they install the main, we show on the plans where we think the sewer connections for the houses are gonna be, but when they're installing the main, the contractor out there is gonna go knock on your door, and he's gonna find out, where does your sewer leave your house, where does it go to your septic?
So you can
Typically, it's on
adjust,
the lower
adjust
side.
where, yeah.
Yeah, we can adjust that there to make it line up as best as possible.
Yep.
With the houses.
Yeah.
All right.
That's 99% of the time, that's the way it happens.
Mike, I think you have a question online.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Zarella.
How you doing? Oh, sorry. Great. I'm not able to see your drawing that he keeps pointing to, and my question was, will I be accessible at some point at 174 Center Street? Is it going up the street or no?
Not much. Just a little, it's going in
It
the
goes
other
up
direction,
Harvard
right?
and takes a west onto Center.
If it went to the horse farm, he would have been able to.
It's on the other side of the brook, unfortunately.
Over here?
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's,
No?
That's too far, but,
Too far?
but you have the right idea. But there is a potential for,
That neighborhood has the potential to get together
and put in a
Bring it
little,
down
yeah.
and bring it down?
Yeah, you could get all those people in that area, you can leave Pandora out of it, just you guys, what, Stanton over there, is that it? And Yale maybe, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, all those streets and.
but talk to your water and sewer department. They'll listen. No, seriously.
Okay.
Let's get back to the habitat issues. So, for the record, I want you to talk a little bit about what we talked about in the field the other day, about what Natural Heritage wants you to do and how you're gonna do it and how that will be addressed
Okay.
briefly.
Okay. So as far as the timing, the bigger concern are the wood turtles, because they tend to be in the streams. They burrow down in the streams. So there's a restriction. Natural Heritage won't allow any work in the streams in the inactive season, which is through the winter. So which is really through April 15th through October 15th, you can be working in the stream. So we're restricted on that avenue, which is kind of opposite of what the rail trail is doing right now, because they would prefer they work through there in the winter because the turtles are bunkered down in the stream, so there's no risk of harming them or the blanding turtles, which are in the wetlands. We're kind of opposite of that with the stream work. So we have to time the construction and what we're doing with that. So ideally, we'll be doing the stream work, possibly in the low flow. We've been talking about possibly doing that in, later this fall, and then stopping work. It's about a week of work in the stream, which will also involve some clearing on the wetland side, on the western side, for a staging area. If we can complete that work in the fall, then contractor will work through the winter when all the turtles are bunkered down. So he'll stop work, and then sometime in November or such, he'll pick up the work and continue this, because the turtles won't be in this area through the winter. And we know we can work safely. We won't have to do turtle sweeps. Part of the stream work, qualified turtle biologist, which my team and I are, we're actually engaged with the contractor for this work. We're going to be out on Monday with the pre-construction meeting for the rail trail. We're going to be doing the turtle sweeps there. And what the turtle sweeps are, we go out prior to construction in the morning and we walk the work areas and make sure there are no turtles physically in the area. If we find them, we relocate them and move them along so they don't get harmed during construction. That's part of the turtle protection plan. There is an approved plan for the rail trail. We will be submitting a plan once we get Conservation Commission approval. We'll submit a plan to Natural Heritage for review and approval. They will approve it. We can copy the commission on that so you have a record copy. And then we will follow those protocols, which will involve similar things with the rail, making sure we do the sweeps daily as needed in the mornings. And we'll do that.
Yep, go ahead.
I have a question about the turtles. I've been up there going on 2.5 years now, and I've seen one turtle, and it wasn't a little turtle. Was there ever any thought about getting a study done to see if that's still, that endangered species for that area still applies?
I think that's
I'd be interested in participating in that if that was something you were gonna do, that you would consider.
those studies can be expensive. I don't know if that's something the Conservation Commission has looked at town funding for, but the Natural Heritage doesn't require those studies for these type of projects. They're intensive because you have to start at the beginning of the season when the turtles leave their hibernation, and you have to go through the entire season through the fall until they winter. And it typically gets intensive in the summer because you have to be out more frequently at dusk and dawn when they're nesting. And this area here is a good nesting area, which is part of the reason why it's under the conservation restriction for the community rail project, and why they'll also be doing nesting habitat improvements through this area after the sewer's put in. So they'll be enhancing that nesting area. So it's a very intense study to do that type of thing, and you have to do a full season of it in order to really track them. And then depending how many you find, it can become more intensive. Because if you're doing that type of study, you have to put radio transmitters on the turtles and track them around. And, we've had sites where we've had 1 or 2 turtles. I worked on a site 15 years ago. We had 42 turtles on 20 acres. That was box turtle, different per species, but the densities vary. I highly doubt you're going to find that many of these turtles here, but it can be a very intensive and costly study. I'm sorry?
You said you'd find nothing but some type of turtle.
He said the project he was working on was for a different type of turtles, where he
Eastern
saw.
box.
Okay.
Right.
Eastern box turtles.
Eastern
So
box
you say-
turtle
you
is
say
another turtle.
expensive. Can you give us like an order of magnitude expensive so we can have some context?
It can vary greatly depending on the turtles, but they could start at $20,000 and they could run $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 depending on how many you're tracking and how intensive it gets and the size of the project. If you're on a significant size project, a couple hundred acres, they can be very involved studies. But that might be something to discuss further with the commission. If there's funding available or whatnot, we'd be happy to help.
Sure you would.
I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Do you want to talk about how logistically that work has to be done before you do the rest of the for a timeline, that the rest of the pipe can't go in until you go across the stream?
Right. The higher point's up down by Sewell Street, and they always start at the low point and work their way up to make sure that they hit the elevations that they need. So they do need to start down here. They're tying into a sewer manhole just on the east side of the rail near Alyssa Drive. They'll be starting here and then working their way into the stream. So if we're able to start this fall, we'll start here, work this, and then shut down to the winter, and then continue all the work through the winter.
Okay.
If not, then they'll likely pick this up in April, and then we can work out the logistics. We'll have an approved plan. It's just a matter of the timing and setting up silt fence if it's needed to make sure turtles don't come in there when we're going to do the sweeps.
Right.
Or that work could start and then stop again until the following winter.
And can you just address the restoration of the vegetation? How does that work?
So when the work's done, as they move forward, they will be backfilling not just the stream, but also the remaining areas, and they'll be reestablishing the existing grade. So whatever the grade was before, they will backfill and level it off to match what was there previously. And then we have some specs in there to reseed the areas. Generally be mostly seeding, because obviously you can't have rooted plants growing on top of a sewer main.
You can, but it's not a good idea.
We don't exactly. So it'll be, these areas will be reseeded. The wetland area will be seeded with the wetland seed mix, and these other areas can be, I don't recall what we spec'd out, but they'll be reseeded so they'll vegetate quickly and stabilize.
And native plants?
Yes, absolutely.
And most of that's dead flat anyway.
Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Can I break in for a minute? We have a couple of questions from the chat. I don't, if you still have the folks muted, but Jeff from Chesterton and Heidi Demers both have questions.
I can go, that's fine. How you doing? My name is Jeff LaJoy from AW Chesterton, 860 Salem Street. Chesterton's wondering if there will be for future provisions to tie into this, or at the time of installation. I don't know if the pipe size will be large enough. We have about 200 people on campus at any given time, but due to COVID, that has actually dropped down quite a bit. But we still have that capacity in that building. I believe it's 250.
Yep, so this is Colin Stokes from the Water and Sewer Department. You will have the ability to tie into it. We'll have to look at what the best option for that would be for your campus. But it's definitely an option, and if you want to give me a call in my office tomorrow, we can kind of take a look at that and take a look at some options.
Absolutely. What's your number? I'll write it down.
My office number is 978-556-7219.
And again, the pipe size.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Didn't mean to interrupt.
So I really can't see your map there as to how you have it all laid out and everything. So I'm assuming this goes right down Salem Street?
Yep,
Is that correct?
It's gonna come out Murray Ave next to Chesterton, and then hang right onto Chesterton, onto Salem Street.
Okay. Yeah, I can touch base with you tomorrow, get some really good details.
We can set up a meeting, I can bring the plans over, we can take a look at it.
Sounds great.
And to reiterate, the size of the pipe is sufficient for their campus. Okay. Do you want to look at, who was the next person?
Yeah, go ahead, Heidi.
Hi. So Heidi Demers, 1 Yale Street. I'm sorry if I missed this. I had trouble getting onto the meeting. What is the goal of this improvement? Is this to accommodate what's being built on Salem Street, right, pretty close to Chesterton?
So the sewer extension is part, excuse me, it's part of the master plan that's been in place since the sewer system began construction in the 70s. It is tied to the development that's happening, but this is nothing new. This has been in the works for 30 years.
This is just the catalyst.
Yes. The last time this tried to go through was when the previous owner of Strawberry Fields was going to develop it and put in housing. We were going to do it at that point. Then that fell apart.
Do we have a timeline as to how long this is actually going to take?
Could refer to the contractor.
The work will probably start in about 18 months, 12 months to 18 months, probably right around 18, and the whole job will probably take a few months.
Okay. So 18 months start to finish. Of course, I'm curious because, I can't see your map either, but I do know the area well, and I'm on Yale, and so I'm guessing traffic is going to be diverted down my street. So I'm interested in how long that's going to impact the neighborhood that I live in.
Yeah, no, so the construction wouldn't take 18 months. It would probably take a couple months of actual work.
Well, in the particular area she's talking about, it's going to be like 2 days, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, just rip through there and move on, right?
Right. It won't be a significant convenience or lengthy time that any road work will be going on in those streets.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, we should probably try to redirect this meeting back towards
Right, so.
wetlands issues.
For the record, tell us who is doing the work in their experience.
To install the sewer main?
Yeah.
That
I know the answer to the question, but I'd rather hear it from you.
R&D Site Development is the contractor who will be doing the work here, and I'll defer to Bill if you need any more detail on
Yeah,
that.
so Bill, just give us a quick rundown.
Bill Daly, R&D Site Development. So it's about 5,000 feet of sewer main, 40 services or so. We've been doing water and sewer mains in the state of Massachusetts for cities and towns for the past 20 years. We're licensed, bonded, and insured to do that type of work. It's nothing out of the ordinary than any other municipal job of this magnitude. It's going to be a little tricky in the river crossing, but other than that, it's your typical beehive type of construction where we'll just keep moving down the street and come back and tie in all the houses. Like I said, it'll take about 3 months to do, and R&D has been doing this type of work for cities and towns across the state for the past 20 years.
Tell us about your turtle experience, Bill.
The turtle experience, we were currently involved with the Blandings turtle at the Sewell Street property. We've been working with Natural Heritage for the past 3 years, building new nesting habitats, doing the turtle sweeps, doing the turtle fencing. Every year we get about 6 or 7 new nests that produce anywhere from 17 to 30 eggs. We treat those at Bristol Aggie, release them, and then we re-release them in the area every year. That's been 3 years now, and it's a 5-year ongoing plan with Natural Heritage, and so we're pretty familiar on how things work and their turtle patterns and the times that they like to emerge and when they also go to migrate.
And you're also going to help us build that mitigation.
Yeah, so when we come out of the, people on TV can't see, when we come out of the wooded area into the open field behind the highway yard, there's an area that needs to be mitigated for nesting for the rail trail, and when we work our way out, we'll just take care of the mounds. It's just basically shaping to give the animals cover from other predators so they're not seen from distances. And it's the best time to do it while we're in there backfilling the pipe anyways, and kind of 2 birds with 1 stone. So
Sounds good.
Good.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, let's see, do we have any other questions from abutters of the audience? No?
Are the plans available on the website, or where do we?
If you come into the office tomorrow, I'll get you set plans.
Okay. Now, any other questions or comments from commissioners? No. I think we've got the full scope of the project. I think the site visit was valuable on when was that?
Monday.
Monday night, yeah. Monday night, we had our site visit. It was valuable to see it firsthand and understand it.
Still waiting on a lot of detail.
Yes. So a reminder to commissioners that the biggest regulation of the project is going to be done by Natural Heritage. You know, they're really the drivers on it. Certainly, I think our orders will reference, what they're doing, but basically, the stream impact is probably the biggest thing that we're gonna talk about. But other than that, the rest of it is.
Our concerns are consistent with their concerns.
Yes, and their concerns are really driving things more so, especially the timeline.
And there's still quite a bit of negotiation before a formal plan is going to be
Yes.
submitted.
Right, and we don't have to worry about that.
Not now.
No, but I mean, pretty much they're gonna drive the issue, Fortunately, we don't have to, other than listen to them, we don't have to worry too much about it.
And to clarify too, the turtle protection plan is, we've done plenty of these. It's going to be very similar to what the rail trail is. So there really isn't much work left. You have the approval from Heritage. Excuse me.
Well, it needs to be formalized.
Right. It needs to be formalized. It's a condition. We just have to submit the plan to them for formal review.
Right. We can't do anything till that happens.
Right.
And
So
when it does, then we'll be ready to move.
well, we wait until the commission closes and approves the project, then we submit the turtle protection plan for review and approval.
First.
Okay.
If you want, you could just make a condition that we provide a copy of the approved plan to the commission for the record. That's usually what I would recommend, and we'll provide it to you once they approve it. It shouldn't take us long to pull together, and we just typically like to wait until all the approvals are issued, so we don't have to go back and make changes to it. We shouldn't need to, but it's a fairly straightforward plan. It'll be very similar to the one that Stantec prepared for the rail trail. It's about having a pre-construction meeting. We go through with all the contractors what they need to do if they find a turtle. It's not end of the world. You just don't harm it. Call us. We come in, we relocate it. They can relocate it if they have to, if the turtle's in danger. Just get it out of the work area. And then, making sure there's protocols and how the silt fence goes in, when it can be removed, things along those lines. So it's fairly straightforward. They approved it with the condition that we provide it. We would just recommend that this board, if you're open to it, would make that a condition as well. And once the approvals are in hand, we'll put that together and send it to everybody.
Any other questions or comments from commissioners? So what's our pleasure on this?
I'm not going to be the one moving, but I think we should move to accept.
Is there anything else we need?
I don't think that I think it's fairly straightforward. I mean,
Right.
the two areas, the only thing I have a minor question about is that one isolated wetland that you were a little, yeah.
Possibly man-made.
But I think it's going to be a one day where they go in one day and then do the work and then put it back the way that they found it. But I can't imagine that I could add anything to that other than.
How close does it get to that pool?
Goes right through it.
Right through
It goes right through it.
All right.
But that's where the easement is, so they have no choice.
It's lined up
but
in the
to-
easement, right,
to
so we don't
go
have a
through there.
choice. And hopefully, if the timing works, like we'd like it to, we'll be doing that in the winter.
Yeah.
So there's no risk to any critters or wildlife or anything else in the area if we're doing it in the winter. So, that's not an area that a blanding turtle is going to bunker down in for the winter, and it's not an area wood turtle would be in. So you're not going to have risk of turtles being in there.
Salamanders.
Yeah, frogs
They
and
typically,
salamanders.
if the salamanders are breeding in there, they typically wouldn't winter. They go into the uplands to winter.
Yeah.
They go to the pool to breed, and there's no breeding in the winter. So,
Anything you want to?
so
I can't think of
I
anything.
feel
other
like
than-
I asked all my questions on the
Yeah.
sidewalk.
Mike, is there anything that that's,
So I think what we also will need to include in the order is a waiver from the seasonal restriction, particularly for that spot, and just to be notified of it. I think we can grant, in the order, grant a waiver for that. So we just make sure we put that in the orders.
would we need a waiver for the other buffer zone areas along here and here as well?
Yep.
Only if you're doing it in the winter.
If
That's the plan, right?
that's the anticipated plan, yeah. Ideally, if we can do this, this could be done in the winter. This would be the whole line, except for the stream area.
yeah, the stream you're not in during the.
But a big chunk of it's out of our jurisdiction, right?
A lot of it, yeah. These grade areas are the buffer zones around these areas. So
Right.
this little section here, this through here. So if
Most of it's not.
Yeah.
Most
so
of it's
the
not, so-
85% of it is not jurisdictional.
But if we need a waiver for these other areas, we'd like to include the area by Center Street, so wetland A, stream 1, wetland B, C. We probably don't need it for D, but, which is by the Argilla Brook. Because we cannot do the work in Argilla Brook in the winter. It has to be done in the turtle active season, between April and
That's going to be more
October.
restrictive than
Right.
the seasonal restriction.
correct.
The work in the hot tub probably not gonna take place out of season.
Mike, what'd you want to do about mitigation? Just,
I don't think we need to because it's all their plan is it's a temporary.
Right.
yeah,
And my understanding is it's gonna be put back to the way it is now, so.
right.
Correct. We're providing one-to-one mitigation. It's a temporary impact, so in essence, it's one-to-one. Anything we disturb will be mitigated exactly in place.
According to that limited project guideline.
Right, and the limited project gives you flexibility, so if we were exceeding 5,000 square feet of wetland, it allows us to do that. We're not. The one One performance standard we can't comply with is under the 310 CMR 10.58 for a riverfront area, where you can have no disturbance in the first 100 feet of the river. Obviously, we're going through
That's
the
not
river,
gonna
so we
happen.
can't comply. That's why they create the limited projects, because we cannot physically meet that standard. There's no way to do it for these type of projects, so they allow you some leniency on that. It also gives you leniency in the impact numbers, but we meet all the other performance standards for all the other resource areas. It's just that one is the issue, so.
And you're
the
just
limited
putting it
project.
back exactly the same way as it was before, so that.
Minus any
allows-
trees that need to come down,
Yeah.
because we can't put trees back on it, but it will be vegetated when we're done. So there'll be a slight shift in the vegetation in some of these areas. But again, that's really through the wooded area up to the north. This is mostly open field, which Mr. Daly will be enhancing per the rail trail project, so that'll be a benefit when that's done. And then a lot of this other work's in the road, so it's not significant impact to vegetation.
And there wasn't trees there that we were concerned about for the most part. When we did the walk, I'm stating it as a fact,
Right.
so not a.
Someone want to make a motion?
Are we moving to I'll try this. This is a.
Keep it simple.
I move that we accept, are we doing it based upon the plan? And so we do the plan as submitted, dated
February 18th.
Thank you.
February 18th, 2022.
No, sorry.
January 18th.
I was like,
I tripped
okay,
myself up about
so I move that we accept the plan dated January 18th, 2022 for the Groveland is it cross-country or cross-country sewer improvement as submitted, and allow the seasonal restrictions to be waived for the work in the protected areas,
Yeah, the 3 buffer zones.
the
A,
3
B,
buffer
and C.
zones. I'm trying to think what else we would add.
That's good enough.
Okay.
Second.
My only thing is to add that we want on file the permit, the turtle protection plan permit when it gets issued.
Correct. Thank you for adding that.
Yeah, I would like a copy of that letter.
The one of them approving it?
You said that you would potentially send us a letter of the turtle protection
Once
plan.
it's
Yeah.
once it's done.
Once it's approved, we can
Yeah,
send it
he
to
sends
you.
it to
Okay.
us.
Yeah,
Yep.
Second.
that's not a
Okay,
problem.
any further discussion?
Can you think of anything to add?
Do you have any questions, Bill?
No, I'm all set.
Okay. So, yeah, so in the orders, we should also put that, acknowledge that the project is subject to natural heritage on the timeline and, some of the other issues that we discussed. So we don't have to say that.
Okay.
Do you have any other thoughts about it?
No, I think.
There's
that-
just the typical stuff that we'll add in, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But nothing
The
special.
boilerplate stuff.
Yeah. All right. So
Right?
the motion has been somewhat made and seconded.
Yeah, just want to make sure we're all through with it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're ready to vote then. Bill,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Aye.
Mike, yes.
Don't forget Fred.
Fred's
Fred's
gone.
off.
Dropped off. No, he's there.
It's showing.
Fred's there. Fred, you there? He muted himself.
I think he's connected, but he's not there.
Okay.
Just
Said
like
a
that he is.
message that he
We'll
was.
abstain him, yeah. Okay.
Yep,
Is that
yeah.
abstain or a not
Five-
recorded or?
5 yes, 1 abstain.
That will.
I think there's a difference between abstain and not recorded.
Oh, like,
Anyway.
Technical difficulty.
he voted present.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate your time, the
That was-
site, and after
Yeah.
the site walk
That
as
was a
well.
really great presentation. I just want to say thank you to you guys for coming too, for the
Yeah.
excellent questions. That
Thanks
was
for your
really,
input
really,
from the community. I
really-
appreciate your concerns.
Thank you.
And I'll go get the other tunes off my car. When they haven't gotten it right most of this winter.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, so
On to the next
next
one.
we've got, oh, and we forgot to say, and close the hearing.
Closed.
And close the hearing.
268, we don't,
Yeah, so,
Sewer.
yeah.
oh,
So this is 268 Washington Street, continued on the notice of intent, Groveland notice of intent. I believe all we want to do this evening is schedule a site visit for sometime in April. If we can get it in before our April meeting, then we might be able to.
When's the April meeting?
The 13th.
Yeah, the 13th. So, what's the Saturday before that?
That is the 9th.
Can we do it April 9th?
I'm working that day. So I wouldn't be able to make it.
Okay,
Could we do it the 2nd?
April 2nd? Yeah, suppose so.
it's beginning of Ramadan.
It's what?
Beginning of Ramadan.
As long as
That
it's,
won't affect me.
as
Just
long
have
as
to
it's
fast today,
no
yeah.
snow on the ground that
Okay.
day.
Can't guarantee that.
Is it possible to do it in the afternoon that day?
On
April
Saturday?
2nd?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Wow, you're really pushing it.
I know. I
Do
double
you
book
want
myself.
like coffee
not a
and
morning
donuts
person,
and
or-
stuff?
No, I have a thing.
Well, either that or we could do it on a
Or if we did
weeknight,
it, could we do it super early on Saturday?
What do you consider super early?
6
8?
a.m.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm up at 5 usually.
Does
But
8
don't-
work for you?
8's fine by me.
It's fine by me.
Bill?
Yeah.
Bill, could you do 8
Bill's
a.m.?
up. I can speak for Bill. He's up at that time.
All right, 8 a.m. on
Yeah,
Saturday the 2nd.
That's fine.
All right, April 2nd, 8 a.m. We're pretty sure that Greg Hockmuth will be okay with that, but Annie will get confirmation on it. and
Yeah,
then
I
Send that out.
I reached out to him before the meeting and I asked if he wanted to give me any dates that would work, and he said that he's very flexible. So
Where's he live now?
he's in West Newbury, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think
so
he's
he could-
I think he's local.
He's a hop and a skip.
Someone
then.
mentioned he was on one of the local conservation commissions as an associate member, which I was like, that's a good conservation commission member to have
Seriously.
as an asset.
Yeah.
But I digress.
All right, so I'll move that we continue the hearing for 268 Washington Street, notice of intent, Groveland notice of intent until April 13th, 2022. Any discussion? Hearing none. Bill? And, yeah,
Yep.
okay. Terry?
Aye.
John?
Hi.
Stephanie?
Aye.
Mike, yes. Fred? Non-response,
Tommy,
okay.
can you hear me?
5 yeses and 1 of something else.
Yeah, look up parliamentary procedure.
Well, you know, this is a Zoom thing. It's kind of, it's not really addressed by that. The
Well, there you
person
go.
appears to be on there but isn't. I don't know what that definition of that is. So, I'll make a motion to close the hearing portion of the meeting at 8:40 PM.
Second.
Any further discussion? No. Bill,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Of course.
Stephanie,
Aye.
Mike, yes, and Fred abstains.
Fred, we hardly knew
Doesn't
you.
really matter what you say because she just documents
All right.
it as
I
all
know.
in favor.
So let's get back
Sorry,
to,
do it in all sorts of languages. I figured
I'm
she'll
gonna
get
try.
it.
let's get back to other business. So I'm gonna go back to number 2 under other items. And if I can find this letter.
The Joslin letter, Sam Joslin letter.
No,
Oh.
that's gonna be under calls, meetings.
There was
and
one
upcoming projects.
Where we didn't object. That letter?
Sorry?
That, was it the one where the last line was, we don't object to this? That one?
Let's
Yeah.
talk about the letter that was,
About
yeah,
when
yeah, yeah,
anyone-
you're right. There was occupancy, certificate of occupancy for the property. That's what I'm talking
That we
about.
do
That's
not
what-
object to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that's the Sam
Oh.
Joslin letter.
Oh, thought he meant
Dear
the Sam
Sam,
Joslin letter.
Commission has reviewed the
Sam
plans.
Joslin.
Yeah.
No. Oh, sorry.
We got 2 Sam Joslin.
Oh, yeah, that's
letters,
true. Yeah,
why
no.
I was-
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
you're right.
Different pages.
He's a busy guy. That's Sam.
Popular, it's
That he
popular.
is. Like, do you want me to try to find it on my end?
Let me see, I've got it, it's just it won't open it for some reason.
It's on my phone if you want me to
I
read
have
it
it
off.
too.
There it is. Okay. Yep. So, we just need to vote to confirm this decision that I issued. So let me read it into the record. So this is dated February 11th, 2022. A letter from the commission to Sam Jocelyn, the building inspector, regarding 123R 7 Star Road. The commission has reviewed the plans for the new house at 123R 7 Star Road and the lot with jurisdictional wetlands. A permit and order of conditions was issued to the owner in 2019, and they are still in effect. The remaining work on the property within the wetland buffer is final, hard and soft landscaping, which cannot be accomplished until the spring. Other than that, the home is complete and has been placed completely outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. With these facts, the commission recommends that you grant an occupancy permit to the current owner as soon as possible so they can move in. We have no objection. The commission will issue a certificate of compliance to close out the entire project once the remaining work is completed in the owner's file for one. If you require any further information from the commission, please contact us. Thank you for your assistance in this matter. So the reason why I issued this letter was because Annie went out to the site. The project is mostly done, and it's really, normally, for some reason, the, occupancy permit wasn't tied to our orders of condition, but under the new building inspector, he would prefer that it is, so.
Well, we would too.
The main reason why I wasn't too worried about it, because the house itself is completely out of the buffer zone, so it really isn't affected by the orders of condition, so. Anyway, so I want to make a motion to approve the letter of, what was the date on that?
February 11th.
February 11th.
Second.
Oh, gotcha. Now you got it.
Any discussion on that?
Do we have any bond or anything to,
It's only a temporary occupancy for.
I'm talking about the certificate of compliance. If they,
Well, Sam's gonna be after them in 6 months for a.
on our behalf,
Sorry?
oh, it's a temporary,
So that's just a
Certificate of
temporary.
occupancy?
Yeah, so Sam's
oh,
gonna
okay.
be after them
All right,
in
so
6
so there's
months.
some
Oh,
leverage to make sure that
Sam's like a-
everything,
yeah.
all right.
Oh,
all right.
yeah, no, they're.
Question withdrawn.
They just want to
Okay,
move in.
any other
That seems
questions or
reasonable.
comments? Okay, Bill,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Natürlich.
Stephanie, Mike,
Aye.
yes.
You
Fred,
didn't even wait for me.
five yes, and
Fred's
one
being
non-
Fred.
One Fred.
One Fred.
I can just think yes real hard and he gets it.
Okay, let's see. Let's go in order, so we're skipping down to number 6, the community trail at Center Street update.
Yes, at the last meeting, Bill, asked about the stormwater runoff that was taking place at the community trail at the intersection of Center Street and the community trail, at the top towards School Street. Yeah, so, since then, I have had a meeting, it was myself, Rebecca Oldham, our town administrator, Rennie Carroll, our highway superintendent, Mass DOT was there, as well as, excuse me, Tropiano, the contractor for the project, and Stantec, our contracted engineers. We talked through the issues, as they were pretty large, and I am no engineer, so bear with me as I try to explain the solution. essentially they're going to add a catch basin at the higher slope. It's gonna catch the water that is currently running off into people's properties, and it is going to be piped underneath the rail trail about, I think, 900 feet to get away from the houses.
residences,
And so that way it's back in the woods and it will just, dissipate, exactly. So, yeah. It is, engineering problem solved.
Add a catch basin, so when will they do that?
They have already begun.
Oh, so it's not in our jurisdiction?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Sounds cheap.
We won't get into that. It's not.
We'll
It's
pay
very-
for a one way or another guarantee.
One trip to Home Depot for 900 feet of pipe.
Yeah, if you see at 150 Center Street, or sorry, no, I'm getting confused. At the entrance there on Center Street, some of the piping's already like they're staged out, but it's not jurisdictional. They did ask me to approve it from asked if we were okay with the plan submitted, and it's not super. They're going to be digging up where the trail already is, putting in piping, and then there's going to be an outlet. And as far as environmentally it goes, as long as our erosion controls stay in place until the project is complete.
And it's not a turtle habitat?
Oh, it's all turtle habitat.
So then, does Natural Heritage have to be involved in this catch basin?
It's a
they're
continuation of
already
the work that
involved,
they're
aren't
already
they?
there.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
okay.
It's
not-
already
you're not doing any
permitted.
Deviation.
Yeah,
from-
it's a
just
minor
picked up in the
site plan
project, yeah.
change.
I don't know, a catch basin doesn't sound super
Okay, I mean, the catch basin's gonna be on Center Street.
Okay.
It shouldn't, I don't think it's
I
going
just
to
want to
have-
make sure that the
Yeah.
habitat is protected from,
Well, I have a meeting on Monday with Natural Heritage, thank you. And because the season for the
Turtles.
landing turtles is beginning, and so we're having a site visit with Tropiano, the contractor, Natural Heritage, Lucas Environmental, who was just here, to go over their turtle protection plan.
oh, for this?
For the
Okay, good. Oh,
for
so
the
you can bring
community
it up
trail.
then. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they already had to send it off to the state to get approved engineering wise, so
Good.
it's not really a town level issue.
No, but I mean.
It's far beyond
As long as we're
my
keeping
capabilities.
that in mind, since.
Yeah, it's a Mass
it's in
DOT
that area.
project, so I'm
Okay.
sure they communicate.
Well,
Necessarily.
yeah.
Well,
Boy.
they'll see it. They'll see it on Monday when they.
You're
Go through it.
sounding
All right,
young.
I just want to make sure my concerns were mentioned and heard.
Yeah, we'll be there, like Lucas said when he was explaining their
Good.
turtle protection. That's exactly what I'll be at on Monday, so I'll be able to talk about it when the sewer
You're the best.
comes up more.
Thank you.
You can go to that meeting if you want to.
I think I have to work on Monday. Okay.
Okay, thank you for the update.
Yeah, so the abutters, if you hear from them, you can direct them to myself or Rebecca, and we can give them the solution that we've decided upon, if anyone has any more questions. But driving by, I've already noticed like a big change in what's been going on as far as the runoff. So
Oh, good.
Must be happy.
That's good, yeah.
I hope they are, because
Yes.
I would have been very concerned if I was them as well. So, yay.
Good use of the term concerned.
Yeah, it sounds
An
like Susan
understatement.
Collins.
Okay, go on.
Don't get me started.
Let's go on.
All right.
Mike, can we help any of our guests here? Can we
Send them home.
send them home because they've been sitting
That's
very
what
patiently?
I'm doing here. I'm getting through it.
I mean, it didn't matter to us. We're stuck here till the end, so you guys don't need.
Who's next?
You've seen enough government in action.
104 King Street. Is somebody here on 104 King
Yeah,
Street?
so 104 King Street. Mass DEP issued a administrative consent order about 6 weeks ago. It's all been signed. I think Annie sent everybody a copy of that.
We saw some in the last hearing, I think. I
Yes,
think we had a
yeah.
chance to read that
Yeah, right,
over.
we saw the draft.
Yeah.
At that time, right, but
Okay.
it's all been signed and it's in
Great.
effect now. So, we are ready to have, Mr. Fiore file with the town of Groveland under the bylaw, so, I issued a letter, I'll quickly read it into the record, dated March 3rd, Mr. Vincent Fiore, Ms. Patricia Fiore, 104 King Street, Mass DEP consent order for 104 King Street property. Dear Mr. and Ms. Fiore, the commission has received a signed copy of the Mass DEP of an administrative consent order related to non-compliant work completed at 104 King Street. The order documents significant work on the property over the past years by yourselves and your company, Vitri Inc. The order also stipulates a substantial amount of activity on your part to mitigate the non-compliant work. The actions include stabilization of buffer zone, wetland resource area, field delineation, preparation, submittal of draft and final wetland restoration plan, implementation of the final plan, annual compliance monitoring. All of these activities ordered by Mass DEP also fall under our local bylaw, Groveland Wetland Protection Bylaw and Regulations. Due to that, we are hereby requesting you to file a Groveland abbreviated notice of resource area determination, followed by a Groveland notice of intent with the commission within the next 30 days. Please contact our office if you need further information on this request. Forms and the bylaw and regulations are available on our website at grovelandma.com. Sincerely, yours truly. So this was sent out to Mr. Fiore and Ms. Fiore about a week ago by certified mail.
23 days left to go. For them to respond.
From when we get the green card back, because it didn't go out very quickly. I don't know why. I haven't gotten
Because
the
of
green card yet.
USPS?
We just got bailed out though.
Yes.
Commissioners
That's
have
not gonna help for-
any questions about that?
I'll just quickly mention the reason I put this on the agenda because I have a couple questions for Mass DEP about the order. And I figured I would ask the commission if they had any questions they wanted to ask DEP before, so I can just send it all in one email and I'm not bombarding them.
I don't think I didn't get anything about this. Did you mail it to, did you say that we got a copy of this?
The consent order, I sent it out.
No, this letter.
Oh, the letter.
Yeah.
Mike sent this out last week. No, I meant the
consent
questions
form.
about what the DEP submitted. The consent order that Mass DEP submitted.
I don't, that,
We saw that last hearing.
And I sent you an email of it.
Right, that was the letter that had all the fines and.
Yeah, it's like a 50-page document.
Right,
did I get it?
You got it as an attachment, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Was it with a bunch of things or just all by
Yes.
itself?
It was probably a pre-meeting
Yeah, there were like 3 or 4
email that had
documents.
a number of things in it.
It was the
Okay.
biggest one.
Okay.
So anyway, does anyone have any other questions for Annie to include in her questions back to DEP regarding the ACO?
I don't have any, but Stephanie might, when she gets a chance to look at it,
Yeah.
she might shoot something off directly at Annie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't have them tonight and then you think of something, if you get a chance, try to read through it as best you can. I mean, some of it is, kind
Takes
of legalese.
fortitude.
Okay.
But, it's legalese, but there is some meat in there about the findings. And Annie, what were the ones you had so far?
I really only had 2 questions as far as what I wanted to ask DEP, and they were, what is the conservation? So in the consent order, it states that the applicant, Mr. Fiore, has to give us updates on their mitigation plan by every October 1st for the next 5 years. So that was us mentioned in it. And so I kind of just wanted to know what else the DEP expected from us. Also, excuse me, I know one of the concerns that was brought up before the consent order was that there were buildings within the resource area, and the consent order doesn't mention the buildings. And I just wanted to ask why, basically, and just what, if, yeah, basically, because they're not mentioned at all, and I was just confused because I know that that was something that was brought up.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so Annie will wait a
Yep.
couple weeks and gather any
weeks?
further information.
That doesn't give them a lot of time to submit a,
Stephanie, I sent.
Well, the questions we have are primarily
Thank you.
to DEP to understand their
Right, I
consent
understand
order,
that, but what I'm saying
which really
is,
has nothing to do with the filings that we might get under the bylaw.
Okay, great, thank you.
My only thing is more of a comment, that if you get feedback regarding the buildings that are in the resource area, let us know that we can
Oh.
talk about if there's something that we need to address, I guess would be my thought. But that's all I have. Otherwise, you're fine.
and my feeling is, if we don't get back to you within 2 days, we're not gonna get back to you. I'm just, I'm an old guy, and that's the way things happen. They fall off the radar, and I would say if you don't hear from us in 2 days, just move on without us.
Monday.
Is that, does
that's fine.
anybody have an objection to that? Stephanie?
Monday, I just asked for
Give
Monday.
Stephanie
Monday, you're lobbying for
I
Monday?
have to work tomorrow.
Okay,
you won't be hearing from me. I'll tell you that right now.
right.
So I'll wait until.
Until Monday.
I'll wait until Monday, end of day, to hear anything, and if I don't, I'll just send the questions that I have.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Beautiful.
Great. Thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
And that was, I just wanted to touch base on that to see if
Yep.
You've done that.
Makes
Good.
perfect sense.
All right.
Through the chair, maybe we have a copy
Yes.
of that as well.
What do you want to?
Being sent to the DEP.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I was just planning on sending Lisa Borgian an email.
And we can CC us.
Okay. Sorry, what's your name for the record?
Frank,
I know I have Mr. Fiore's email, and I don't know if I have yours.
Mr. Fiore's is fine.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for waiting.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for your patience. Have a good night.
Guys, I got your hands full a little bit earlier, so. Worked
Okay.
out well.
All right, drive safe.
Thank you very much, you as well.
I'm walking.
All right, commissioners, we gotta move on here.
Oh, my gosh.
And what's your address?
The next is, okay, so we'll skip down to number 11. From what I understand, we received a complaint, but unfortunately, we cannot entertain that. We've been advised that we cannot and should not entertain that complaint due to the civil litigation that the parties are involved in, and also the town is under a separate civil suit. So we've been advised by town council that we cannot address this issue.
We're not the subject of the suit. We're not a party to this suit, either as a party, plaintiff or defendant. Is that what you're saying? Us?
The Conservation Commission, no.
Correct. Okay, that's what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
we're not,
Okay.
but the town.
No, that's fine. Okay, I just wanted to know.
They're suggesting we don't want to be involved in it, it sounds like.
Yeah, well,
No
they,
comment on ongoing litigation.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm good with that.
all right.
Can I speak to that? Okay. Is there any way you can share the public with this letter from council? But this is public information.
I don't think we need to address that. I think town council needs to address that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There's nothing we can do about it.
I understand, but he said that he has the letter from the town council with his such a recommendation, right? All I'm asking is, can you share this one with the town of Groveland? Because it's public information, nothing to hide.
We're not,
Right?
it's not a question of hiding anything. It's just we can't comment on it, so
I
there's,
understand, I'm just asking, I just request, I need a copy of this letter.
I don't think it was a letter, I think it was a verbal phone call. And it had nothing to do with me
you talk to town
personally.
council, they'll tell you what they
Can you
did.
give me the contact information of the town council so I can have?
That we should be able to
That we
do.
can do.
You can.
I don't have it, Rebecca has it.
Okay, Rebecca, who's not on the Zoom call, but she, from town, she'll be able, what's her last name?
Oldham.
Oldham.
Our town administrator
town
has the
administrator.
I would
contact.
like you to record this information in the meeting minutes, I request this one.
Yeah,
And you say that you will accept this one, you will give me the contact information,
Yep,
okay?
Yep.
But I still need to present this one to you, okay? Can I do that?
So we're gonna give you, her information, she'll be able to direct you to town council to the extent he's able to help you.
Okay, but can I present this one to the board?
I don't
No.
think we're, no.
The answer is no.
We're not allowed to do anything, so we're not going to. I'm not trying to be mean, we're just not allowed to.
I thought we had every credit, I mean, so you suppose it's open meeting,
it-
I just present them my means.
If town council tells us that we're not allowed to talk, we're not gonna talk, and we're not gonna address anything, we're not gonna do anything. It's cut and dry, and I'm not trying to be mean, but that's just the way it's gonna be.
Okay, and can I get a copy of the letter from town council? I
There-
need something in writing.
I think,
You have to talk to Rebecca Lee. It didn't involve me, it didn't involve Annie, so talk to Rebecca.
I mean, the conservation, open meeting, public meeting, I mean, so I have the rights to.
But we don't have it. We don't have it. We
not in front
didn't,
of us.
we have been directed, that's all we have been directed by other town people that work here. So you'll have to talk to Rebecca to find out the specifics. I don't really know, I think she had a phone call or somebody had a phone call with somebody at town council, but I don't know. I just know that we've been directed not to talk about it. That's all I can say.
We have nothing in front of us.
and the commission doesn't have to hear anything they don't want to, regardless of what's going on. It doesn't, the commission does not have to hear on an issue that they do not want to.
We're not doing anything with it, so we're not going to, yeah. It's pretty blunt, so.
Okay, but I would like to record for this, and you have to write all this in the meeting minutes.
That's what I'm
Okay.
doing.
Okay. So I request this information, okay?
it's been noted.
Okay, so we're on.
For open discussion, or do we have anything else?
No, go back to number 8, the finances and budget. So I've got up on the screen, let me share it for Bill so he can
broke.
see it.
Bill, did you want to talk about anything?
Nope.
Okay.
I've been directed not to say anything.
All right, so I submitted our budget to the Finance Board for their review. I went to a meeting on last week, and
Is this for FY?
FY '23, yes. So
Okay.
basically, we are raising the expense budget by 2%, which is $66, and that's it.
Yeah,
The-
baby.
The number above for the environmental program coordinator is being removed because the salary was increased already by a significant amount based on her assignment to be part-time town planner. So the finance board wants to take that away.
Can't do any better. I'll go on the record on that one.
And so that's the big picture. Let me see.
Bill,
here.
can you see any of this? I don't even know if you can, or want to.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay.
Screen sharing works, it's just the,
Did you have a question about the $66, or?
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
You can't keep up with inflation. Come on, we need to increase it by much more.
So I'm just gonna.
Although I think Annie supplements us with all her extra waiver fees, so I think we're doing pretty well.
Yeah, I'd like to know where we're at, because I can't get a report on that from our finance department, so I gotta pursue that a little bit better. But I think we are doing well this year. Okay, let me see if I can share this here.
Still want that library.
What?
Okay, so, yeah, all right. Okay, here it is.
Fast, Mike, come on.
All right, so here's where we're spending the money. So this is our supplies and equipment, $600 for office supplies, $466 for signs. Notice the $66 increase there. Our MACC membership is $600. Software maintenance for Laserfish, we're gonna contribute $700 towards that. We've got $500 set aside for commissioners, MACC courses, and $500 for the environmental program coordinator training. And then here's our contribution towards the salary and our stipends. And so the total amount we're asking from the town is $37.66. A mere pittance.
I don't know, I don't want to take,
I
yeah,
know people donate them.
yeah, that's what,
People on the
oh, yeah.
planning board donate.
Any questions on that?
Even budgeting for them, even though, because, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
so since we don't take our stipends, or at least I don't think anybody has I still would like to see that put towards education and like I said, some of the books and manuals we can get from MAC.
Yes, we can do that.
I
We
think
can
we still
do
have
that.
to line item it though as a stipend, even though we
Yeah, you don't
we
want
don't
to
use it.
You don't want to eliminate it.
No, we don't, because what we will do is, if no one takes it, we ask it to be put into our expense account, then we can spend it.
Right.
So we will do that again this year, and, so if you want to take an MACC course, do it, because we gonna be able to fund that. I know Annie just took one, and so we're gonna reimburse her for that, so.
Tomorrow and Saturday.
Oh, another one?
It's just.
Oh, that was that one?
Yeah, I have one tomorrow and Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, so Annie's taken two, so Annie's way ahead of everybody except me, so,
And Stephanie, you've finished it, right?
I think I only have one left, but
oh.
not on my radar at the moment.
Every time I look at him, I'm like, I'm busy that time, I can't.
I
that's
didn't
the
even,
problem.
I
It's
have
like,
so much going on, I haven't even been able to.
yeah.
Because you're doing other school, right?
Yeah, and I had a rough February, yeah.
I think we should take the stipends and to put it at Mike's bar.
I like that plan a lot.
All right,
So-
Annie's update.
Okay, so we can get reimbursed for a class? Okay.
Yeah, because they're only $55 anyway.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever gotten reimbursed before.
Well, you should submit.
Submit.
This position should not
Still do it.
cost you money.
Yeah, if you still have like the invoice and everything, I can send you the reimbursement form and
I'll
the
look and see,
stuff.
yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, just let me know and I can send it.
But you can only go, now you can only back to July. You can't do.
Fiscal
before
year,
July.
right?
Yeah.
I can't remember when we took those.
That was, I was here, so it was this fiscal year.
Okay.
So you still can
Okay.
submit.
Yeah.
Because I only
And
just
if you-
submitted mine.
And what's the
sure
limit
that-
of
500.
Oh, all right then. Done.
Well, this year, I don't know where we're at, but I know there's still some money left.
I think Annie's been burned through it all.
Even from my laser pointer. Can even use it.
I think we should buy her muck boots, that's the thing.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
thinking.
He did mention
I'm
that.
not joking, I mean, she doesn't have muck boots, can we budget for that?
I
Because that's
think she
obviously
should
just
get muck boots herself. She should have them just as part of life.
I know, I have so many other types of boots. I need to wear through those before I commit to the muck boot
I think we should add that to her as expenses. I just do. I mean, it's like, well,
Or you want a GoFundMe
Yeah,
account
tools
or
of the
something?
trade,
I
right?
mean,
Yeah.
I keep a pair in my car.
I used to, when I ran the lab, I used to buy the guys coats and shirts just because they would ruin them.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think-
we did buy her a hat and a
My
vest.
safety vest. I got a golf compliment on it.
Come on. What's
It'd be nice to have some men's safety vests, by the way.
Yeah, let's order those for real this year.
Yeah,
The
yeah, I mean,
men's-
just
Oh my
for
God,
fun.
because they zip
We
on
got
the
'em.
opposite
Just-
side.
Is that what it is?
Just
Yeah.
have something that
No.
fit would be
No, it's
nice.
because he objects to the zipper.
Oh, it being the zipper on the
I
right.
The
object to
zipper's on the wrong
I object
side.
to the fact it
Good
doesn't
God.
fit around.
Talk to the hand.
Okay,
I'll talk to the hand. All right.
it's 9:13.
All right.
Let's talk
Yeah, it's time to
something else,
wrap
not the
this
hand.
up. I move,
Oh, no, I have to,
then get going.
okay.
We have this letter from the other Sam Joslin letter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I'll do my environmental program coordinator update quickly, and then we can do that in calls, meetings, and upcoming projects.
Okay.
And we can do adjournment.
Yes. I'm taking the 2 MACC courses, one tomorrow, one Saturday. I signed up months ago. I don't know what they are anymore.
Doesn't matter, just
Yeah.
take them.
Exactly.
Tree hugging 101.
As far as new applications, there's one potential one, but they need a zoning variance first.
So it's gonna be outside of the season.
Oh, yeah, it'll be, yeah.
All right.
So that's that, and then there was probably something else. I don't think anything crazy. Things are going good in the office, though. Mike, do you mind if I move on to?
Yeah, go ahead, Annie.
So in your packet, there's a letter from Sam Joslin, the Groveland Building Commissioner, in regards to 931 Salem Street. And it is, I'm not gonna read it in because it's a long one, but essentially, it is to bring everyone involved with the 931 Salem Street project up to date on what is going on. There is currently a temporary occupancy just for the auto body shop that is issued. That's basically, yeah, and it says that other work still needs to be completed. It mentions our plantings that we approved by the Conservation Commission, that will take place after the
Ground
seasonal
thaws.
restriction. Yeah, that's all, but that was just issued to all the departments, and I wanted to
Okay.
make sure you were all aware of it.
Thank you.
And so they're insisting on guardrails, huh?
They will potentially come to the planning board with an engineer stating that the Jersey barriers
Suffice?
are sufficient, engineering-wise, safety-wise, that they fill the same requirements role that the Jersey barrier, that the guardrail does. But they also still need to put the pumps in, which need to be engineered, approved by the town's engineers, and then ordered and installed, and just ordering them takes 6 months because of how backed up everything is.
Wow, okay.
So they're gonna have their temporary occupancy for a while, but we have, the planning board and Sam have discussed that after the first 6 months, they're gonna show us that they are working towards the occupancy, and then they have to show us every 30 days after that they are still working towards that occupancy, whether it's just, we ordered the tanks. We got an email from the producer that
Right.
they're
All
4
right.
months out, 3 months,
All right.
whatever.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Good.
Any other open discussion items? So, don't forget, we've scheduled the site visit, so once Annie gets a okay from Greg Hockmuth, she'll send out a reminder so you can put that on your calendar, because it's kind of off in the distance.
April will be sooner than we think.
Yeah, right. So any other items?
Adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
So our next meeting is April 13th. Make sure you have that on your calendar. And I think that we're ready to adjourn despite all the technical problems we ran into. I can't believe we had so many technical problems tonight.
Let's blame it on him. He's new.
I don't know what
just
to
had
blame it on.
I know, that
Okay.
was the snow.
I move to adjourn the meeting at 9:17.
Okay. Is there a
Second.
Bill,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Aye.
Mike, yes. Fred, he's gonna stay on. All right, so the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.